Good morning, it's Hazel Jarvis, it's Art Online, and today we are going to do a stylized portrait. Portrait as a value study, and I'm going to use cobalt blue, which is my favorite color. So I mix up in the palette 4 different dilutions going from very weak to very strong. So I'm going to start with my weakest solution, and I'm going to start somewhere unimportant. So I'm going to start on her collar. And I'm just going to get some of that very, very pale blue all over, or all over most of the collar. And I'll get some under her neck and round the earring. And we'll get just a little bit on her face, just at the top here to define it, round the eyes and round the side of the nose. And also just a little bit under the nose I like to do, and a little bit under the lower lip. And we'll give her some nice cheekbones. So we'll define under the cheekbones too. And then when I've got that on, I take a little bit of clean water and I just smooth the edges very slightly. I'm now going to go to my slightly darker blue, and I'm going to just add a little bit more. So I'm going to add a little bit more to the eye over here, or to the shadow under the eyebrow, and also to the side of the nose. And I'm going to paint in my top lip. Actually, I'll paint in all the mouth, I think. Working with this slightly darker blue, we'll put a little bit more shadow on her neck and under her chin, so we can carve out this nice pearl earring too. And with that same blue, we'll give her a nostril and also just a little bit of a line underneath her eyes. And we'll bring this shadow over just slightly towards her nose. Again, I'm going to take my clean water and just soften that line just a little bit. And a little shadow up on her forehead also, using the lightest blue. With our darkest blue, we're going to put in her iris. We might leave just a little bit of white. And we'll also do her eyebrows. And with the paint that's left on our brush, we'll add a little bit of pattern to our butterfly. Being careful not to smudge or put your hand in wet paint, you're going to paint in the eyelids now. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more shadow in this inner corner over here, and I'm going to pull some of that paint down and just define the nose a little bit. Just add a bit more water to that so it's a little bit paler. And then we'll just go underneath the nose. I'm going to clean up my pencil line, or clean it up as much as I possibly can. So you want to be sure that your paint is completely dry before you try erasing your pencil line through the paint. So you can see with just a couple of values, she's starting to come together very nicely. I'm going to go back to my number 2, my second lightest, and I'm going to put a little bit of pattern on her collar. put a little bit more colour on her upper lip too, since that's in shadow, so that should be a little bit darker. Going to our very darkest blue, we're going to put in her hat, or the cap that she's wearing. And it looks as if her hair is sort of caught up in a bun at the back and is also covered by that cap. With this very darkest colour still on our brush, we'll add a little bit more pattern to our butterfly. We'll take this very dark colour and we'll just put in the pupils. And maybe just a tiny bit more detail in the lace collar, but not too much more. Now finally, because Marion studied both the fauna and the flora of Suriname, we'll just add some leaves over here. So we'll just do some stylized leaves just to fill in this space. And we'll put in just a few on the other side. And you can vary your mix, so you can use some that are light, do some that are light and some that are dark. So I'm going to finish my portrait now by adding some details with a tight brush, and you'll see what she looks like in a minute. So I hope you'll enjoy painting Maria or whoever you decide to paint, and I can't wait to see what you do.